on a mission. Today, a standoff in the road to the big game. Brady and the Bucs face a formidable foe. Can they end the Rams' journey on this perilous path? Can the coach keep his cool? It all happens here.
Good afternoon, and thanks so much for joining us. I'm Melanie Michael, and welcome to our Road to the Big Game special. We are bringing you a preview of the NFC Divisional Playoff Game this afternoon at Raymond James Stadium, where the Bucs host the Rams. It is indeed game day, and the winner will face the 49ers next Sunday for the NFC Championship. The excitement and anticipation is at its peak in Tampa, and today we have live team coverage from everywhere. Our sports team on the field at Ray J, tailgating parties, and even high in the sky above. But first, let's check in with our Buccaneers experts, some of our favorite folks around here. Dan Lucas and Karen Loftus, our good friends, joining us now live from the field, smack dab in the middle of where it all happens. Hey, guys.
Hey, good afternoon, Melanie. I wish it were a tad warmer, but we could be at Lambeau Field like last night.
I like the perspective because I was thinking the same thing. It is brisk.
If the Bucs needed a wake-up call before this game today, it was both games in the divisional round yesterday, the away team winning, and this could wind up helping the Bucs if they can win today against the Rams.
Yes, because the lower seeds won, so the winner of this game will host the NFC Championship because the Packers were the 1 seed in the NFC. They got knocked off, so the Bucs are the 2 seed. And, you know, if they can win today, then they're going to host the NFC Championship. Yeah,
possibly hosting all 3 of their playoff games. Got to beat the Rams today, though. A little bit of news today. The Rams are without one of their big offensive linemen, Andrew Whitworth, the left tackle. That is very important for the Bucs defense. Bucs have some injury news as well, Karen.
Yes, they do. There's a couple things that we're following with the Bucs here. The latest with Leonard Fournette. He looks good to go after being activated from the injured reserve on Saturday. He has not played in about a month. That was back in the Saints game back in December when he injured his hamstring. And then as far as the offensive line, no offensive linemen were promoted for the practice squad. So taking a look at that, that means the Bucs are at least considering playing Tristan Wirfs and Ryan Jensen today.
Yeah, there's a chance of that. And at 1:30, right around 1:30, we're going to get the inactive list to see who's not going to play in this game. I expect to see both Wirfs and Jensen in this game today, and we'll see how long they go. Jensen for sure finished the game last week against the Eagles. Wirfs was the concern, didn't practice all week until Friday. So, Karen, this is a rematch from early. You were out in L.A., SoFi Stadium. It was crazy, and it was a big day for the Rams that day.
It really was, and it was very loud, too, in that game. You know, that was 120 days ago. A lot of things have changed, and then you talk about the crowd noise. I know the Bucs are hoping that that works in their favor this time around.
Either way, the Bucs lost that game by 10 points. This is going to be a rematch for the ages. For the 3rd time in just over a year, the Bucs will lock horns with the Rams. It is shades of the late 1990s and early 2000s. A must-see matchup with so much at stake. The cast is different, but the feelings are the same. Both teams are loaded on offense. Both teams can own a game with their defense.
They have weapons all over. Receivers are good, running backs good, quarterbacks good, have a good offensive line.
They have a lot of superstars, on their defense, a lot of great players.
For 2 straight regular seasons, the Rams have gotten the better of the Bucs. Once at Raymond James Stadium, and again last September at SoFi Stadium, the site of Super Bowl 56.
Play activate goes to a fade route to a wide open Cooper Kupp. I mean, there was nobody near.
That was a bitter day for the Bucs. Tight end Rob Gronkowski was lost to broken ribs. Cornerback Jamel Dean left the game with an injured knee.
Obviously, the product that, myself and the team we put out there on the field wasn't good enough the first time around.
I always like playing a team that beats us, especially like even in the regular season. Like if we play a division opponent, they beat us the first time, I want to beat them bad the second time.
The storyline remains the same for the Bucs for what seems like months. Injuries and more injuries. Depth has guided this team through an impossible storm. Only now, the one bruise that hurts the most. The offensive line is hurting. And defensive tackle Aaron Donald leads a Rams pass rush that finished 3rd in the NFL with 50 quarterback sacks.
They're going to be there sooner or later. That's for sure. You can only hold them out so long. And you still got to take some shots down the field. I mean, everything's not going to be dink and dunk. And, So you just have to maximize how you're doing it, who you're blocking.
In their first meeting during the season, there was no Odell Beckham Jr. Now it's something else to worry about for the Bucs defense while trying to stop Cooper Kupp, the NFL's top receiver with more than 1,900 yards.
Now, Cooper is he's a challenge, man, and you can't double team him all day, that's for sure. And they got too many other weapons.
But rematches are always different. 1 year ago, the Bucs avenged not one, but 2 losses to the New Orleans Saints and beat them in this very round of the playoffs.
It's win or go home, and so you have no choice but to bring that energy because you don't know when your last game is.
It's the playoffs. Bring your best. Get loud and raise those flags.
It doesn't really matter what happened, in October when we played them last. It's really about this game. You got to go win and move on.
And one of the things that the Bucs need to do this time around is get out to a fast start. In that first meeting, they only had 7 points going into the third quarter, and that's got to change if they want to win.
And they did that last week against the Eagles, off to a good start. All right, Melanie, let's send it back to you. We got a lot more to touch on later in this big show.
Looking forward to it. Lots of history behind this game, and we are certainly looking forward to kickoff. Dan and Karen, thank you so much. We'll see you shortly. And the conditions last night, as they mentioned at Lambeau, were downright cruel. Take a look at this. Driving snow, frigid temperatures. Kind of tough to play football, but thank goodness the winning team from today's game will not be playing there next week, which could have been the case had the Packers won. Now is a good time to check in with Max Defender 8 Chief Meteorologist Jeff Baradelli, who is live at Raymond James Stadium, ready to give us a check of our game day forecast. It's our favorite day of the week, okay? You know how we feel about game day. It's serious, and I know that Jeff and Karen, Dan and Karen were saying that it's very, very brisk and chilly out there.
It's chilly, but not like Lambeau. That's good news.
Yeah.
No snow, but both of these teams not really used to the cold, right? I mean, LA, Tampa Bay, our temperatures right now only in the low 50s, which is really chilly. If you haven't left and you're headed to the stadium, dress in layers. Bring a jacket, maybe even bring a coat. You're going to be out here for at least a few hours. Temperature-wise right now, we're in the 40s northern half of the Bay Area. 50s southern half of the Bay Area. It's holding in the low 50s, and the problem is on the visible satellite, we are socked in with low-level moisture and a lot of clouds. This cloud deck is going to be hard to burn off. And one of the reasons we have all these clouds, cold air, temperatures in the 40s, over water temperatures that are in the low 60s. And when we see that kind of pattern, we tend to hold in that marine layer in those clouds. Jet stream diving way to the south. Polar vortex in Canada is kind of elongated or stretched, and it's sending down these shots of colder air. So your hour-by-hour forecast, we're in the 50s this afternoon. It's going to feel like the low to mid-50s all afternoon. And then as we head to the evening hours, those temperatures are going to plummet, feeling like the 40s. And then by morning, just about everybody's going to feel like the 30s, and some of us will feel like the 20s. So let's break down the Bucs forecast for you. You know, we're going to feel like the mid-50s this afternoon. It's cloudy. It's going to stay mainly cloudy. Maybe just a little bit of sun as the sun begins to set. Would you figure that? And then as we head overnight tonight, clear skies and temperatures will be in the 30s. So again, it's a chilly one if you headed out to the Ray J. Back to you.
Jeff, thank you so much. You know, Packers fans are looking at us going, are you serious? It's in the 40s and 50s. You might as well wear shorts. Thank you so much, live at Raymond James Stadium. We appreciate it.
Our blood is thin.
It's totally thin. We become kind of weak down here, but you know what? We're glad we're not in Lambeau today. Thank you, sir.
That's right.
From the field to the sky, tonight we have a bird's eye view. It's so unique and just really gorgeous here in Tampa Bay, as Ray J is going to be packed with crowds beginning to gather right now. And flying high above it all is our favorite friend right here. He's tailgating right now in Eagle 8 HD. Hey there, Paul.
Hey, Melanie, good morning. And look, I have my Buccaneers shirt on, and I'm screaming up here, go Bucs, so hopefully they can hear me downstairs. So here, let me show you. There's Raymond James Stadium. Look at it. It looks beautiful. Here, I'm going to push in and show you. Let's see any players out there on the field. There's a few of them out there warming up, but you know where you want to be right now? Here, I'm going to move the camera out into the crowd. This is where all the fun happens. Let me zoom in and show you. Tailgating, that's what you want to be doing. Everybody in their jackets, and they're just having a good time. So this is the North End Zone crew. Some of my friends, they're down there, and they're probably lonely because I'm not there with them. But anyway, they're having a good time. So you know what? Go Bucs. And here, let me give you one more shot of the stadium. There you go. It's Raymond James Stadium. Beautiful. in Eagle 8 HD. Paul Amison, 8 on your side.
Paul, my friend, have a wonderful time in Eagle 8 HD. Tailgating there from the best place right there in the house. What a view that is. Our gorgeous, pretty city in Raymond James Stadium, really shining bright today. And as Paul showed us, fans could hardly wait to get to the stadium. Some showing up right now. Right in the middle of it, in the thick of the tailgating parties, Nico Clemens continuing our live team coverage. Hey, friend, looking sharp. And I know that Paul told us his friends were getting together down there, so make sure you keep an eye on him.
Listen, Mel, we got a 3 o'clock start time, right? It's a little chilly out here. You all mentioned how chilly it is. But you think that stopped Bucs fans from coming out here earlier today? Not at all. Here, check it out. We got tons of Bucs fans. How you guys doing, Bucs fans? We got the grills going. Check it out. We got the grill, the Bucs grill going. We got, I'm not sure what that is. I'm going to need some of that later, though. I'm going to need some of that. We got the chips. We got the hot dogs. We got all that going on out here. But let's show you some video really quickly from earlier today. Again, just to give you more the scene out here, show you more of the atmosphere. Of course, you got the Bucs fans. You got the grills. You got the cornholes. You got the tent set up. People arriving early again, despite the weather, despite the cold. And we also got some other Bucs fans over here as well. I'm going to bring you all to someone I met a little bit earlier today. His name is Scott Heidel. Scott here, he's from Tampa. He's a season ticket holder here. Scott, you were here at last week's game, correct? Yes. And so here we are again at the Rams. What are you thinking? What are you expecting?
Well, expecting a pretty good game. Looks like a lot of Bucs fans came out again. It's good for us. And hopefully we come out with a win.
You got out here early today?
We got out early today.
What we got going
Set
on back
up,
here?
tailgating, come out every week, tailgate before the games. You know, just have a good atmosphere. A lot of fans out here. And hopefully we come out with a win today, and we have another home game next week.
Awesome, Scott. Thank you so much, man.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Take
That was
care.
Scott Heidel. So many fans just like him got out here early. They're anticipating, again, 3 o'clock start time, but people are still pulling up. Fans are still rolling in. So we'll see you all again in about 30 minutes, because I'm sure this entire parking lot will be even more packed. Melanie, back to you.
I just got to tell you, you need to bring back some of that chili, because that looked dynamic. So make sure you put that in a ramekin or a container to bring back, and join in the fun, man. Start playing some football out there. Looking good. Nico Clemens, thank you. Well, coming up, he may be small, but he is a huge Bucs fan. And his favorite player? Tom Brady, of course.
This is the best day of my life.
Look at this little guy. Coming up, how a story of a great misfortune brought a super fan and a superstar together. And later, a very intimate and just enlightening conversation with Tony Dungy, his legacy and what he's doing beyond football. And welcome back on this game day. You know, many of you saw the video of Tom Brady giving a young boy and his family Super Bowl tickets. That boy is a huge Tom Brady fan, as it turns out Brady is a big fan of his. This child has gone through what no one should ever have to face. A year ago, he was fighting for his life. And months later, his dreams are coming true. It is proof that during the darkest of days, hope shines bright. He's definitely our new hero, and I'm happy to say Tom Brady is his.
It all started with a prayer in a hospital room. A little boy battling cancer while his life hung in the balance. Doctors would soon face a difficult task, removing a tumor embedded deep in his brain. It would take 2 brain surgeries, both high risk, as surgeons performed a delicate procedure, working to detach the tumor safely.
It's the worst. It's the worst thing. It's just like you always hear, it is the worst thing to hear as a mom.
The young life of Noah Reeb changed overnight, but his prayers at bedtime did not. Each night in the ICU, he prayed out loud.
What did you tell God that night?
Please help my brain to heal. And please help me to be able to meet Tom Brady one day.
After fighting for his life battling cancer, followed by chemotherapy and radiation, Noah's wish came true when his dad took him to Tampa for a Bucs game, a promise his parents made to cheer up their son during his darkest days. As the young boy headed to Tampa, Noah couldn't wait to see his hero.
What did you say to your parents?
This is the best day of my life.
Noah brought a sign to Ray J that day, thanking Tom Brady. The 4th grader says it was the GOAT that gave him the courage during cancer. And the first person to see the sign? Chris Godwin, who gave Noah his gloves before the game. Then came the 4th quarter, and Godwin told Brady Noah wanted to meet him. So the GOAT, gracious as ever, got up and gave Noah a Bucs hat, happy to hear this young fan beat cancer. It was this very moment that would change Noah's life. His mom called the QB an angel.
Tom Brady is one of those. Whether he knows it or not, his talent and his athletic ability and where he stands in the NFL, he was a tool used to help my little boy beat brain cancer. So, for that, I'll forever be grateful.
Then last week, Noah's life would change once again. His parents got an email from the Bucs, and a video was attached. When they watched it, they began sobbing, both overwhelmed by what they heard. Tom Brady right there on the screen telling their son, pack your bags, it's time to celebrate. This little boy who had big dreams was invited to the Super Bowl. The GOAT gave the young fan 5 tickets.
I just feel so grateful.
Yeah.
I mean, Chris Godwin said, hey, can you just give this little boy a wave? But he came over.
What started off as a prayer in the ICU from a 9-year-old became a promise from Tom Brady telling Noah to stay strong because dreams really do come true.
All right, as you can imagine, I barely got through that interview without crying. He is so special. Noah, we hope you're watching today with your parents in Utah because Tom Brady is going to do it big time. All right, I'm happy to share some great news. Noah's in remission, spent almost a year doing great, and he can't wait for the Super Bowl. As you know, it's just around the corner. It is game day in Tampa Bay, Bucs versus Rams at Raymond James Stadium. A good time to check back in with our Max Defender 8 Chief Meteorologist, Jeff Baradelli, who's live inside the stadium, ready to give us that forecast. Jeff, people are waiting at home right now saying, okay, we know we need to dress warm, but just how warm?
Oh, really warm. But not as warm as 1989. 1989, it was 39 degrees at kickoff right here in Tampa. So it's not the coldest ever, but it is chilly. Feels like temperatures right now in the 40s and 50s area-wide. Here at the stadium, it feels like 52, 53, 54. And, it's not going to go up very much. The good news is it's not going to rain. Take a look at Max Defender 8 radar, and you'll notice that there's nothing on the radar, but what we do have is just total cloud cover. We have moisture stuck around 3,000 feet above the surface, and it's really hard to erode that moisture. And so it's going to remain cloudy out there as we head through the day. Let's take a look at your Bucs forecast, and the temperature is going to be around 54 degrees. However, as we head through the game, those temperatures will begin to slide. And by 6, 7 o'clock, we're in the upper 40s, and by morning, we're going to be in the 30s for a lot of the area. Because of that, the National Weather Service has issued a couple of alerts. The first one, generally in the Bay Area and south, we have a wind chill advisory for wind chills that'll be in the 20s and 30s. But north of us, it's going to get near freezing, especially away from the coast in Pasco County, Hernando County, and Citrus County. And so we have a freeze warning that's in effect. This is the coldest air of the season. It's going to be with us straight through tomorrow morning. Go Bucs!
Go Bucs indeed, my friend. Thank you so much. I'm glad we're not at Lambeau, and I'm glad it's not years ago with temperatures in the 30s. Thank you. Well, true Tampa Bay fans will reserve a special place in their hearts forever for former head coach Tony Dungy. He turned the program around in the late 90s, and he made history as the first black NFL coach to win a Super Bowl. He's a fantastic guy, loved by everyone. As we approach Black History Month, our Deanne King sat down with Dungy to discuss his life, his legacy, and his life beyond football.
But I remember exactly what I was thinking.
Born one generation after segregation, racism was reality for Tony Dungy's parents.
And he said he walked past all white schools to end up teaching in all black schools.
The two school teachers raised Dungy in Jackson, Michigan.
I can remember watching with my dad on a little black and white TV, and George Wallace was the governor of Alabama, and he was stopping these two African-American students from entering the school. He said, we'll never have Negro students at this school. And I was probably 9, 10, asking my dad, what is this all about? And my dad saying, there's some people who may not like you because of what you look like, We don't do that. We don't treat people like that. We don't respond that way. You do what God would want you to do, and that's be kind and courteous to everybody.
Christianity and kindness translated in everything Dungy did, including sports. From college football to playing in the NFL.
This is 1978, my second year in the NFL.
He retired at 25, then got his first coaching gig as assistant coach for the Pittsburgh Steelers.
And at that time, I think there were 11 African-American assistant coaches in the whole league.
But race wasn't the only obstacle.
It wasn't just lack of African-American coaches, but my style. I was soft-spoken. I was a teacher. As a Christian, I wasn't one of those guys who was going to yell and scream, and that's what a lot of owners wanted at that time or thought they needed. And I can remember an owner telling me in an interview, I don't think your style will work in the NFL. I don't think people are ready for that type of leadership.
But the Tampa Bay Bucs were. In 1996, Dungy became the head coach, the first black head coach for the Bucs. He turned the program around in 6 seasons, but was fired in 2002.
That was tough. I was here 6 years. Our family was here. We loved it. And, you know, to all of a sudden have that uprooted and say, okay, we're going in another direction. We don't really need you. We had to think about what we were going to do.
Well, his family headed to the Indianapolis Colts, making history. In 2007, he became the first black head coach to win the Super Bowl.
And I remember thinking maybe some young African-American men and women are going to watch this and say, I can do more than just play. Maybe I can coach the team. Maybe I can own the team. Maybe I can be the general manager. Maybe there's no limits to what I can do. And that's a good feeling.
A role model, humanitarian, an icon. The Hall of Fame coach goes beyond football, ministering to people in prison, giving back through his foundation with his wife, and more.
What do you hope your impact is?
I've always wanted my impact to be helping people not just dream, but helping them pursue those dreams.
Dungy currently works as a sports analyst for NBC while his wife runs their foundation. And together they are parents to 11 children. As for what's next, he says he's praying and seeing what God has in store. I'm Deanne King, 8 on your side.
Wow, great story. Coach, we love you, and you have helped so many pursue their dreams in Tampa Bay and beyond. Well, on this Sunday, on this game day, we're just getting started. By the way, look at this. That chili delivery that we requested from our good friend Nico Clemens coming through there, friend. Oh, tasting it. This is what tailgating's all about, folks, right here with Buccaneers fans, as we are just a couple of hours away from kickoff, and our coverage continuing in just a moment. So goodbye for now. We are so glad you joined us. Please stay with us.
Welcome back to Raymond James Stadium. The Bucs and the Rams behind me here, getting some early warm-ups in before their NFC Divisional Playoff Game. We are joined now by NBC's Jack Collinsworth, a man of all trades who does it all. And you're going to be on the air here shortly with NBC, the Sunday Night Football gang, getting ready to call this game and set it up. We just got the inactives, Jack, and Tristan Wirfs, the Bucs right tackle, is not going to play in this game today. So that was kind of the worst fear for Bucs fans. Where does that fit in your opinion?
Well, it's a big deal. I don't think it's any secret that it's a big deal, but the Rams are playing without Whitworth. So you sort of have a queen for a queen if you want to go chess terms. Probably the plus side for Brady would be that he can at least see the right tackle spot, right? So he can at least keep an eye on what's happening back there when he drops back, where Stafford, his left tackle, is going to be wide open, and he's going to have a new guy standing there in the biggest game of the year.
For the Bucs to have a better performance than they did way back in September. Against this Rams pass rush, what do you think is the first rule? What is the first thing they need to look for?
I'm going to playoff Leonard Fournette, and I'm going to see if he's healthy pretty quick. That would be where I would begin. And I don't think it's only in the run game. That's a factor. But I'm flipping those screens to him. I'm just dropping the ball to him in the flat, letting him run. I think it'll be the difference of maybe 3 yards with other running backs and 8 when you get Leonard Fournette running downhill into those secondaries.
And defensively for the Buccaneers, obviously the Rams, just weapons everywhere. Kind of like the Bucs offense. They mirror one another. They did get a little bit of pressure on Stafford in the first meeting, but this is a difficult task with Odell Beckham now helping Cooper Kupp relieve some of that pressure.
Odell Beckham looks like OBJ. He looks fast, he looks athletic, he looks confident, he's flying around, and it's contract year for him, you know. I think it's probably in the back of his mind somewhere too, but I think he fits within this offense. He likes those goal line fades. We saw him hit them for one of those last week. Probably the plus side on the Bucs side of everything is that they're healthy in the secondary. They finally got everybody starting to come back at the right time of the year, and nothing helps that pass rush more is when they finally got right on the back end. That's where they've had their troubles this year, but healthy right now.
Well, Jack, thank you so much for your insight. We look forward to you about 20 minutes on right here on News Channel 8. The Bucs taking on the Rams. Jack Collinsworth got a lot to talk about here as we set up this big game. All right, let's send it back to you guys. Welcome back to Road to the Big Game here at Raymond James Stadium. Bucs and Rams getting ready for the NFC Divisional Playoff. Karen, Jordan Whitehead, one of the safeties. You heard Jack Collinsworth compliment this defensive backfield being healthy. He's one of the good ones, one of the best right now.
He really is, and I think he may have surprised a lot of people, maybe the casual fan, but if you ask his teammates, they know he's been like that. He is that guy. Well, I got the chance to chat with him this week to talk about the season that he's having and his insight on this game today.
Final score, 34-24. Rams win.
You have the Rams at home this time. Where have you guys made improvements that this can be a different result than what you guys had in week 3?
I think just as a defense, understanding the concepts and what they're trying to do. We're just going to watch some film. Coach got some good things drawn up for us. The DBs have to, get tuned in with the passing game and defend that, and then I think we'll be ready to go.
The Rams have a couple offensive weapons, just a couple. Cooper Kupp, Odell Beckham Jr., Sony Michel, Cam Akers. How do you guys even start to manage guys like that?
Right, they're all great players. They all do their individual thing well. Cooper Kupp, one of the best slot receivers in the game. So that's one of the guys we're going to have to really focus in on.
It's picked off, intercepted by the Buccaneers. Whitehead's got the pick.
You had sort of a breakout game at Carolina the day after Christmas. You've had games where you've had more tackles, but this game, it just seemed like you were everywhere. You were flying around, you had an interception. What do you attribute that big game to?
Maybe it was because it was Christmas time. The spirits was up. But really it was, we needed that win to clinch the playoffs, and I think it was just a little bit more focused.
It didn't have anything to do with the fact that you were mic'd up. Mike Edwards seemed to think that was what the thing was.
So that might be part of it, I guess. I was excited. I wasn't feeling too well at the start of that game, and then I remember I was mic'd up and I had to get some energy, so it kind of got me through.
You guys do this row the boat thing after you guys get a turnover on defense. Who came up with that? Where did that come from?
I don't remember where it came from. I know when we played the Rams last year, I know I got my pick and JVP was like, row the boat, row the boat. And that's like the first time I can remember doing it from like myself starting it.
Vita definitely gets the style points though, out in the water doing the backstroke.
Vita started the water, the swimming.
You guys have been dealing with so many injuries this season. It's been a major storyline specifically on the secondary. But you guys are still finding ways to win. It's been remarkable. You even had 2 games in a row where you didn't allow a touchdown.
Yeah, Coach Bowles does a great job putting guys in every week. Whoever's in the game, he'll find their strength and plug you in. He has a lot of different calls that he uses, and it goes a long way. Keeps the offense on their toes.
And speaking of injuries, Richard Sherman joined your team, and he's had a couple injuries that he's been dealing with now on the IR. But when he first joined the team, we were talking about how good he is as a coach to a very young secondary. How invaluable is he when he puts his coaching hat on with you guys?
You know, it's a lot. We were just watching film and like throughout the week, and he runs it. He coaches us up. He goes through the route combinations and all that. And then on the field, he's on our butt. You know, we're out there doing extra, catching balls and just making sure everybody's tuned in.
All right, so Jordan Whitefield is definitely an asset to this secondary. And then something else I want to point out, Sean Murphy-Bunting, another valuable member of the secondary. He was injured for that first meeting, so the Bucs are lucky to have him back for the second
It's a
round.
different matchup this time for sure with the Bucs defensive backfield. That should give Bucs fans a little bit of confidence here going up against Matthew Stafford, Cooper Kupp, and company. All right, we're going to take another break, and then we're going to hear from the head coach, Bruce Arians. You are watching the Road to the Big Game.
Welcome back to Road to the Big Game, a bird's eye view from above Eagle 8. We're waving.
Hey, we're just
Paul.
on TV.
Hello, bird's eye view. We love it. Dan and I down here on the field getting you ready for this divisional round matchup. Now, as we've mentioned, this is round 2 between the Rams and the Bucs. And that first meeting, head coach Bruce Arians was just as stunned as the players were after that humbling loss.
The first loss of the season, so it was a wake-up call. And Arians, earlier this week, I had a chance to talk to him. And even with all the injuries, he's still pretty confident that the Bucs are going to get a little revenge today. No matter what happens injury-wise on that long injury list of yours for this game, you've had the benefit of time, a week to prepare, especially on the offensive line for contingencies. So how prepared is the O-line for this challenge?
Oh, extremely. Got a lot of confidence in all the guys, starters, backups. It's a good group, man. They're extremely well coached, and they got a heck of a challenge in front of them.
You let Leonard Fournette rest an extra week. How much did that pay off not trying to force the issue a little bit with him?
Yeah, he just couldn't go last week, but he looks like he's more than ready to open up and got full speed this week.
How difficult is a hamstring? I don't know if fans understand. Your hamstring hurts. For a guy that relies on open speed, how critical is it to have a hamstring be as healthy as possible?
Oh, yeah. I mean, you can play with it at 80%, but running backs, receivers, defensive backs, man, they got to go full tilt. And if you can't open up, you're going to get beat.
Been a lot of talk for a few days now on how each team is different from way back in week 3. That said, did you go back at all and look at that game, some of the things that they were able to exploit your team out in L.A.?
Yeah, you know, that game was the first time we had crowd noise in over a year, and it was loud. We also had a couple of guys get injured in the secondary early in that game, and guys that stepped in weren't quite ready, and they played a ton of football since then. So all the guys that have to play have a bunch of game experience now if we have to go to backups. And so, yeah, we're a different team. They're a different team. They've added some big names, and it should be a hell of a ball game.
Yeah, one of the big names they added, Odell Beckham. What has he done to that offense? Because it looks like Cooper Kupp's been able to get even more space than he used to have.
Yeah, he's kind of taken the spot of Deshaun Jackson, but more of an every-down player, and he's into the offense now. He's been there long enough. Jefferson's another hell of a play. They got good weapons. Higbee, the tight ends, hurt us last time. So, yeah, it's a bunch of guys you got to watch out for.
Yeah, Von Miller's the name that everybody's talking about. It's almost a spoils of riches on defense for them. How challenging is that pass rush?
Oh, it's a good one because it's inside and it's outside. And, you know, I think that whoever's playing tackle for us will do a heck of a job. And, you know, 99 is the guy you got to watch out for.
It seems that the Rams kind of built themselves for this game, for this moment, because they fell short in the playoffs last year, saw what they needed to do. I feel like these teams really mirror one another. Would you agree? And what does it mean this weekend to get through this stage if you can get to the next level?
Oh, it's huge. You know, it's one and done. So you want to get to the championship, you got to win the divisional round. Really happy it's at home, and it should be a whale of a ball game.
Now in that, you mentioned the addition of Odell Beckham Jr., who wasn't there for round one. Well, I just saw him here during warm-ups making a one-handed grab behind his back with one hand.
Let's
So
hope we
yes,
don't have that.
we have to account for him.
I'll tell you what we do have, a peak of sunshine coming through. Our chief meteorologist, Jeff Barradelli, did not lie to us. We are seeing sun today, Jeff. Hopefully it holds up nice weather here throughout the game today.
You know, I'm taking this as a good meteorological sign from the weather gods for our Tampa Bay Buccaneers, because yes, there are a couple of breaks of sunshine out there, and it's helping to warm it up just a bit. Let's take a look at the visible satellite, and we can see these breaks of sun kind of working their way in. It's still going to remain mostly cloudy, but as the game goes on, we'll begin to scour out some of that moisture and break up the clouds a little bit more. Temperatures still feel like the 50s, so you need to dress in layers if you're out here. And as we head through the evening hours, temperatures will drop into the 40s, and by morning, temperatures dropping into the 30s. But overall, I'm predicting a 100% chance of a Bucs win today. Even though it is a little bit on the chilly side here, it is going to be a wonderful game. We have fans really filtering into the stadium right now. Now I'm going to toss it over to Nico, who is out with the fans outside the stadium tailgating. Nico?
What's up, you guys? So I'm out here. You saw me eating the chili earlier. Still got fans out here. Check out the fans over here. Hey, guys, how you doing? Yeah! We got the grills going. We got the chili going. I'm walking with the fans. Game time is at 3 o'clock, but like I said, fans got out here earlier today. You see they're all making their way to the stadium right now. So we're going to see you all inside. You know, Karen, they're all inside right now. We'll toss it back to you. Paul, are you up there? Can you see us right now?
I can see you, Nico. Hey, I'm looking for you. And look, I even put on a different Buck shirt. I have Buck spirit coming everywhere. I'm ready for this game. Here, let's take a look and look at the stadium. It's looking good. Nico's out there having a good time, and it's just rocking in the stadium. Look, fans are already making their way into the upper deck, and we're going to look around and look down here in the field. Here's some players out there, and Karen and Dan are down there as well. So you know what? Let me see if I can find them for you. I think they're right over here. I'll throw it down to them. There's Bob, there's Karen, there's Dan. Hey, guys, take it away.
There we are. See, we're really here.
We really are. I love that. I love the bird's eye view.
All right, well, we're not going to be here much longer. We have one more break. Then we're going to hear from a Hall of Famer, Tony Dungy, on the job Bruce Arians has done. That's coming up next on Road to the Big Game. Back to Road to the Big Game. Well, if there's anyone that knows what it's like trying to repeat as a Super Bowl champion, it's the coach, the Hall of Famer, Tony Dungy.
Yes, we sat down with the Hall of Famer and the former Bucs coach to get his opinion on the adversity that this Bucs team has overcome with injuries to get to this point in the season.
Defending a championship is the hardest thing to do.
It was a dream scenario for the Bucs, coming off their Super Bowl championship and returning all 22 starters for the coming season.
You had so many guys that could have said, I can get a little more money here. I can take care of my future here. But they all said, you know what, no, we want to do this again. We want to make history.
With expectations through the roof, they opened up on the national stage against the Cowboys. Then in the first quarter, starting cornerback Sean Bunting suffered an elbow injury and did not return. He would go on to miss 8 games, and that was just the start of an injury-plagued season for the defending champs, especially in their secondary.
People don't realize how strong this defensive team was and what they've lost, and they're still playing well. It's amazing.
Then came the loss of players on the other side of the ball, forcing the Bucs once again to test their depth on offense in the final weeks of the regular season.
And if you look at injuries, when Leonard Fournette and Antonio Brown not being here and Chris Godwin going out, most teams, you take that kind of ammunition away from a team, that drop-off is going to be tremendous, but it hasn't been. I think that speaks to Tom Brady and his ability to adapt. It speaks to the coaching staff, though, and being able to teach these young guys and then put them in situations where they're going to flourish.
And flourish is exactly what this team has done, setting a franchise record with 13 wins in the regular season and earning the NFC's 2 seed in the playoffs. Not a small feat, considering how they've had to shuffle personnel since week 1.
I've seen the team go through this many injuries, but not win games while they're doing it. To withstand that, it just shows the depth that they have and the determination.
Now they find themselves just 3 wins away from hoisting a 2nd straight Lombardi trophy.
It speaks to their resiliency, it speaks to their determination, and they put themselves in position now to have a chance to defend, and that's all you can ask for.
All right, quick predictions. I think it's going to be a high-scoring affair with the Bucs win.
I'm going low scoring. I think the Bucs get out of here with a win, 18-17. Enjoy the game, everybody.